Bienvenidos. Welcome to Ópera Hispánicas and to our virtual event. My name is Solange Mardinian. I sang Maria in Ópera Hispánicas acclaimed production of Maria de Buenos Aires at Le Poisson Rouge in New York City. And I'm very excited to be introducing our first online event. Before anything, the Ópera Hispánica team and I would like to thank Alejandro Cordero for his generous support of this event, and to this wonderful group of people for coming together to bring such an exciting event with amazing music and lively conversations. And thank you to our audience for being here this evening with us. You can also make a difference and help us do more events like this by visiting our website, operahispanica.com, and donate there. You can also see the link below. And of course, thank you to our wonderful Majas. I am so honored and proud to be part of this amazing team. Without further ado, I would like to introduce our newly appointed General and Artistic Director of Ópera Hispánica, Maestro Jorge Parodi.
Thank you, Solange. We are very, very happy to be here. Solange, you were amazing as our Maria, and I am so happy to continue having you in our team. Welcome, everyone. I'm so excited to share tonight's event with all of you. We've been working really hard bringing you an example of what Ópera Hispánica is all about. Ópera Hispánica is the only opera company in the United States exclusively to celebrate and to promote opera and vocal works centered around the Latin American and Spanish experience. Ópera Hispánica's mission is as clear as it is relevant, to present operas that are in the Spanish language, are written by a Hispanic or Latin composer, and or are inspired by Latin American themes and topics. To find out more about the mission of Ópera Hispánica and why it was created, let's invite to our screen the founder and chairman of the board, Frost Hernandez. Welcome, Frost.
Hey, Jorge, Maestro, how are you?
Hello, my friend. We are so glad and thankful you started this company.
This is exciting. This is really, really exciting.
We are so happy for today. Tell us, what motivated you to found Ópera Hispánica, and where do you see it in a few years?
Yeah, well, first, I just wanted to start by welcoming everyone and thanking everyone for joining us here. It's clearly been a very difficult and challenging time for, many people, not even specifically, but including our artistic community. And this event is extremely, vital for, especially with everything that's going on, right now, to celebrate the great, accomplishments of, our amazing, these amazing people that we're about to have on today. Ópera Hispánica was founded specifically, because there wasn't a platform that nurtured and promoted Latinx artists. And as we know, this really starts with, the music always begins with the song. And yet there wasn't a platform that really, an agency that really supported and nurtured and advocated for, the composers and the artists that, were so vitally important to the overall fabric of, the opera community. And also, to showcase, again, the accomplishments of the Latin community, especially, we're about to hear from so many people today, and the wonderful that they're doing on a global level.
Correct. And we have people from all over Americans. We have people from Spain, from talking to us from Uruguay, from Chile, from Argentina, people that have been living in Mexico. So it's really happy that we have all these wonderful guests. And where do you see Ópera Hispánica in the near future?
Yeah, I think, look, it's so exciting to see everything that we have, being planned, from the performances and the education outreach that we plan to do, the community engagement and the community outreach that we have planning. I think going back to my original point of just the time that we're in, I think that beyond Ópera Hispánica's unique mission that is very, very clear, right, and special. You know, the company is brought together by so many talented and amazing creatives and producers and executives that really span across, you know, entertainment, within digital, within streaming, within recorded music. You know, my previous, you know, career was working for Sony Music, you know, here in New York as their global marketing director. And I think that finding new and creative ways beyond, you know, the as we say, the four walls in performing arts, but really, you know, getting into the streaming area and starting partnerships with Spotify and Apple and Deezer and Amazon, and really building this company, you know, beyond what we're traditionally used to. And it's great to know that we're already doing that. We have the team already in place that already has done that. So it's really exciting to see us sort of evolve within this digital era. It's what we do.
Wonderful. By the way, we were watching some pictures of Frost with some of our Majas, Isabel, here we go, and also Eglis Gutierrez and Gayetana Enders. These are from past Opera Hispánica events. And Frost, you right now you also have your own record label, and by the way, one of your artists just won a Latin Grammy. Congratulations!
Thank you.
That's wonderful. And so what's the pulse of the Latin music these days in the States?
Oh, it's so strong. You know, after I left Sony Music, I started my own record label called Yaya Music. And now it's a partnership with Sony Music and with the Orchard as our global distribution. And I manage Afro Bros, who are the leading producers in all of Latin music, the guys behind Nicky Jam and J Balvin and many other big artists. The climate within Latin music could not be stronger. And again, going into, you know, what I've been working on more, you know, recently, which was the digital sort of landscape. You know, a few years ago, when we were reading a lot of the trends of where music was happening, you know, on the digital level, it was always the UK and it was always Germany that were sort of leading in terms of, let's just take for example, Spotify, as like the biggest markets that were streaming. Now those markets have shifted, and now the biggest, for example, again, taking Spotify, the biggest streaming market is Mexico.
Wow.
And so we're seeing this across the board, not only in, you know, classical music, but also just, again, with mainstream and commercial music. So again, we're really, really excited. It's a great time to continue building on, you know, this amazing mission that we started.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much for your vision and your energy, and
thank you, Jorge.
Thank you for making this happen, and we're very happy that we are all together here.
Maestro, thank you so much. And again, I think it's a great time for this, and to have you lead this from a creative and from an executive level. I mean, we're on to some really, really great stuff and a great fiscal year. So thank you for your leadership on this.
Thank you. My pleasure and my honor. By the way, we're watching some comments, and please, everyone, feel free to write comments, and we're going to pass them along and show them live here. Some of them. Great. Thank you. Thank you, Frost.
Maestro.
Now we're going to move on to our first Maja. I'm so excited. By the way, we have the fortune to be able to feature tonight some amazing women that are the guiding lights of our community. Some of the top female opera stars in the US and in the world right now are singers that identify themselves with the Hispanic culture. And we are very proud to have several of them right here with us tonight. Again, if you have any questions or comments for any of our guests, please write them in the chat, and our team will be passing them along to us. All right. I am beyond honored to introduce now these Chilean opera superstars that has sung leading roles at every single major opera house in the world. The incomparable Verónica Villarroel, or as I will say, Villarroel, but that's on the other side of the mountains, right? Hi, queridísima Verónica.
Hello, Jorge. Oh my God, the this is so fantastic to be in touch with each other and hearing all of the news, all of the progress. And so that is a good thing about the pandemic, no? And I'm so happy that you invited me to talk to you and to all of your friends and contacts. I think it's very important right now that we have to, you know, help each other with communication, what we are doing. The networking is the most important thing now, you
That's
know.
true.
Uh,
This kept us alive and energetic and energized all these months, right? You are in Santiago de Chile right now, correct?
that's right. I am in
Wonderful.
Chile. Yeah, it's the spring going to summer right now.
That is nice for you, right? That's we are starting the winter here, but we're very happy that you are with us all the way down from Chile. And as we know, Santiago is one of the busiest capitals of opera in the world, and certainly in the Americas. And you have your own Academia Verónica Villarroel, right? What made you create this wonderful institution?
Oh, thank you very much. Yes, I do have an academy of singing, and this started some years ago when you think what I'm going to do in the future. Should I go netting in my house, cooking, learning how to cook or iron or, whatever, But I think one of the most important thing is that you don't discover that. You discover that you need to share. You need to go on in different ways. Your life has not ended yet, you know. And when I came back, when I was in Juilliard and when I went there over there in 1986, we're talking about last century. Each time I was invited to sing one opera, in the theater each year. So, and I was young, of course. And so many young singers will ask me, so how you do it with the manager? And how do you learn to do the pianos? How do you do this? And I have no idea how to answer, and because it kind of like, my life, it was very accidental, let's say, to become a singer. And so I didn't have the answers to that. But as I grew older, as I sang in different places for opera, and wonderful roles that I did, then I started to find out by myself, getting those answers. And now you see, what I do with my life. So I opened the academy, but with my family, because I trust them, because I love them. We grew up together with my career too, and I trust them, and that's how it was born. But it's not only lyrical singing, it's all kind of singing. So we have a lot of teachers and we have a big community.
I also saw that you have a competition. You started your first competition for, as you say, for classical music, but also musical theater. How was that? It just happened.
Yeah. We transmitted the festival. Hello, Alejandro Rutia.
I know Alejandra since my college there. We were together in University of Michigan, also the last century. Anyway.
Last century, yeah. But Jorge, I am older. I'm sure I am the oldest of the Majas you have invited. But no problem. I have no problem with age. I think we should embrace as we get older what we are, what we learn, and don't be embarrassed. I mean, excuse me, we cannot avoid living life, getting older.
And actually, we're so glad that as you say, that you are continue involved in the business, and you are doing something that is so wonderful, especially for the South American community, and specifically your Chilean community, and specifically the Santiago people, that you are able to bring all your amazing experiences to those artists, and they are so fortunate to have you.
Oh, Jorge, George, thank you so much. But last Monday was the transmission of the first international voice competition in lyrical singing and in musical theater. So for Chile, musical theater is still a little bit behind, but there is a lot of talent around the world, So in pandemia, I thought this is a moment to open a competition because you don't need to travel the judges, you don't need to pay for hotel, all of those expenses that you have to get in order to do a competition. So it was the moment also because there are so many singers, many artists that suffer, that couldn't work, that couldn't do an audition, they couldn't do a program. I mean, so many things that they stop. So this is just a little bit of hope, a little bit of like, now I'm going to prepare myself. I'm going to train myself to be, to better yourself a little bit because you challenge yourself through a competition. And it will be a future where we'll see each other,
That's wonderful, and you give so many the opportunity to show their art, to be motivated, and also your prizes were really wonderful, and you can have people from everywhere in the world, not just the jury, but also the singers that are able to have that access.
That's right. Because I mean, you can do many things in life and stuff, but you have to also like I've been in judge. Oh my, I'm sorry, your English is so much better. Being a judge in many competitions, you don't give your feedback. So I thought that after the competition, we should give a feedback, not only from the judges, but from my academy and my organization, because you need to, you need to be told. It's not that I'm perfect or anything, but you should choose the right repertoire. You might have a wonderful voice, but the repertoire you choose still too big for you, for your age, for etc. etc. You have to better your French. You have to better etc. etc. So you have some information, so you can grow from that information and go to the next step, to next competitions.
Great. We have a question for you. It says, is this a competition just for Chile, or did they have different age categories?
999 is for everybody. Absolutely. It's and also for me it was important, Jorge, not to have age limit, and like in many competitions or in the theaters, you say, oh, you are 30 years old, 35, you are already old to sing or to do a competition. And I say that's so unfair because the big roles should be sung by an experienced singer with a life, with their techniques more, stronger. So it's not done to sing for people with 20 years old, So, and also musical theater, also there are roles that are done for, for older people. So why to limit yourself? And also, in competition, sometimes you have this different. Men could be 35 years old, but women had to be maximum 32 years old. And I say, hello, that's very unfair also. So, that's, I don't know, next year when we do the competition again for all, everybody around the world, let's see if we can get bigger and try to, to help to, to give value to each artist. We are still good, even if you are 100 and something years old. Sometimes, of course, you're not going to do Traviata, right? But you can do other stuff, and certainly to learn from older people.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your passion. I love seeing your face and your enthusiasm, and it's so great that you are keeping working for all of us. And thank you so much. Then down there in Chile, your example continues, and we are so happy to have you here tonight.
Jorge, thank you so much. Good luck. Believe in yourself. What you're doing is fantastic, and I am very proud. So count with me with anything in the future also to help, because this is the moment to help each other. Mwah!
Thank you. Mwah. Gracias, Veronica. It was wonderful to have you. It's just so wonderful. It's a pleasure talking to you and share these wonderful things that you're doing. And I'm so glad that you're doing that wonderful competition. And talking about competitions, our next guest just ran another international competition, and I had the honor to be part of the jury. The Giovanni Concilio competition, organized by the Teatro Grattacielo and the Camerata Bardi Vocal Academy, had over 250 participants. Yes, we heard them all. It took a while. And one of the top winners, Ricky Garcia, will be featured in an all-Spanish recital organized by the Camerata Bardi, the Teatro Grattacielo, and Opera Hispánica later this season. It will be a live performance in New York that will be broadcast all over our platforms. Let's welcome the artistic and general director of Teatro Grattacielo, Stefanos Coroneo. Stefanos, hola!
Hi everybody. Hi, good evening.
We are so excited to collaborate together in this recital. Collaborations are so important in the world of opera these days, and not only we are sharing this recital, but also we are very excited to have plans for next season. Actually, we're doing a co-production of a stage double bill. We had to keep the suspense. We cannot say more. But Stefanos, tell us, how are all these collaborations? You are an expert on collaborations and mixing the energy of different companies.
Absolutely. I must say that your president of the board, Frost, hit a point for me. We too, in Teatro Grattacielo, we believe in bringing new perspectives in the opera world, together with mixing up opera with innovations, with filmography, with multimedia arts, and also collaborating. That's especially important to me because when I started as a performer quite some time ago, I must say that I was very, very lucky to be able to be in productions where there was some kind of collaboration. Many companies had put together their resources to create a great production. That was my first concern when I started working for Teatro Grattacielo, was how can we mix, especially in a city like New York, who has so many different energies and so many people who come from so many backgrounds. How can we take all these backgrounds, melt them in one, and make opera accessible to everybody? And that's what I'm doing.
Great. And I know you have a very, very successful screening of your show. Tell us more about Fedora.
Yes. So when a pandemic hit, we had to make decisions. One of the decisions was to actually film our Umberto Giordano's Fedora, what we were supposed to perform live. And I didn't want to be a studio project. I wanted to be something live but filmed. So what we did is we found this humongous warehouse theater in Brooklyn. We filmed, and we are streaming right now on throughout our websites, and it's quite good.
Well, I saw it's beautiful. Congratulations! And talking back to our recital that is coming in April, is all Spanish recital featuring Ricky Garcia. We're going to hear now a preview of this recital, and Ricky is going to perform a song with music by Joaquin Turina. Here we go.
Sabemos las mujeres que verán en poco tiempo y con locura. Dios sabemos, te amaré.
Bravo. Welcome, Ricky. And thank you very much. That was wonderful.
Thanks for having me.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it, Maestro.
Thank
Bravo,
you very
bravo.
much for recording this wonderful video.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's great collaboration. I'm looking forward to the recital in April. Really
We
can't
are.
wait for it. It's going to be fantastic. Yeah.
Are you in, where are you right now, Ricky?
I'm in Houston, Texas right now. I'm with HG. I'm a Houston Grand Opera studio artist here. So I'm just doing my thing here and just looking forward again, like I said, in April to be bringing this recital to New York and to the public out there. So yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, we're certainly looking forward. And Stefano, thank you also for making this happen. We are very happy to be collaborating in this exciting recital, and that it's going to be Opera Hispánica first recital this season. So hopefully we're going to be able to share it with some live audience, but certainly we're going to stream it, and hopefully we'll have a lot of people watching online. So thank you, both of you, for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us. Ciao.
Ciao,
Thank
Maestro.
you. As I say, everyone make sure to check out our websites and social media sites to find out more about how to catch this fantastic all-Spanish recital by Ricky Garcia. By the way, the recital is also going to be streamed through the platform of another key institution in our community, the America Society. Their regular scheduled musical streams have an audience of over 2,000 people every week. Let's welcome the Director of Music of the Americas from the America Society, Sebastián Subieta.
Hey,
Welcome, Sebastián. ¿Cómo estás?
thank you, Jorge. Muy bien, ¿qué tal?
Todo bien. Yeah,
Un gusto
we're
estar acá.
doing very well. We're very excited to have you. Tell us more
Glad to be
about
here.
the broadcast. I mean, it's amazing the success you're having with all those the broadcasts.
It was something, yes, of course, we were just starting the season when the pandemic hit. So what we decided to do right away when it was clear that we had to close, which I think it took, a week before we realized we were closing. So we decided to start launching one video every day of a musician of our musicians that we had worked with or not. The thing evolved, and that would be filmed at home just with their phones. Some people were more technically adept, but phone quality was enough, and we decided we'll do one a day and see what happens and how far we can get. We are 100 and something videos in right now, and as you said, they are extremely people, I think, really are looking for things to do and for the connection that they can feel when they listen to music. So the success has been, it was really, really remarkable. We didn't expect it. Mainly on Facebook for us, it has been we get thousands of views of each video every day of people from everywhere. And they are going so well that we'll keep doing them forever. So now we can't stop, because when we hope to go back to our regular season in next fall, the whole rest of this season will be virtual. When we go back to our stage, we'll keep doing these things. And then we have, so those are the daily videos. They're, keep producing them. They go every day in the morning. I thought it would be nice for people to have something to watch in the morning. So at 10 every morning, you know that there's something there at Music of the Americas, and on our website, Facebook, Instagram, all those places that young people go to watch things these days. And then at the same time, we kept our regular season, as you mentioned, and you guys have been, we had a recital many years ago of Opera Hispánica at America Society. We've been doing this for over 50 years. So our regular concert season is 20 concerts a year from September through July, of music from Latin America, the Caribbean, and Canada, music or musicians, one or the other. So we keep doing those. So what we're doing this season, the 2021, we'll have 15 concerts that we would have done live that they are transforming to larger, slightly larger webcasts that happen. So what I did is I went to the artist and I said, listen, we cannot open. Do you want to do it virtual? So, and most people agree and they're happy to do it. So we did 3 or 4 this fall, and we have 10 more in the spring.
Great. And tell us, so there is a very strong presence of the communities of all South America and Latin America in the States. Tell us what the America Society is doing to showcase these communities.
Right. Well, as I said, our mission is to promote the dialogue between the U.S. and the rest of the hemisphere. So what, my part as in the music is one part of what we do is to show the many different faces of the music production in the region. We do, as you know, from early music to contemporary music. We do commissions, jazz, opera, folk, traditional music, a little bit of everything. I try to do a little bit of everything. Yes, there's a photo of the recital we did. What was it 7 years ago? Man.
Yeah. So here's pictures of Egilis Gutierrez and Diego Silva for the recital organized by Opera Hispánica in the beautiful home of the America Society. By the way, everyone, one of the key events of Opera Hispánica's upcoming season will be another recital by a major vocal artist in collaboration with the America Society.
Right.
And
that our home, as you said, is really, really very good for chamber music and for vocal music as well. We've been there. It sounds nice. It's one of those grand houses on Park Avenue, and it really sounds beautiful for acoustic music.
In fact, yes, it's a beautiful home, and it's great that all Americas have a place to showcase their art and their cultures in New York and through your streamings everywhere in the world now. That's just very, very valuable. Well, thank you so much, Sebastián, for being with us and all your work that you do at the America Society. It's I think it's very important that you give us, meaning all the nations of South America, a place and a home in New York to showcase our cultures.
Great, thank you very much for the invitation, and I look forward to being together in person again.
We'll do it soon.
We can, yes.
And the good thing is we're neighbors, so we run into each other into the street sometimes.
That's right.
Thank you, Sebastián. And now to our next Maja. Camille Zamora is one of the most joyful persons to be around, and she shares generously her joy through an amazing foundation called Sing for Hope that brings colorful music everywhere, and through a fantastic project called The Pianos. Welcome, Camille.
Hello.
How you doing?
I am so good. I'm so happy to see you.
Well, happy to see you too. You look gorgeous as always. We first met at Juilliard. I used to play for your voice lessons.
That is how you know a true friendship. We're still friends after that.
It's as Veronica said, sadly, it was last century.
Well, in our case, it was still this century, but only just.
Almost. Very good. Camille, tell us more about Sing for Hope.
Sing for Hope. I mean, Jorge, you were there, in the genesis. I mean, you saw it. I think it's very sweet because I'm in fact right now coming from a Zoom room with a bunch of Juilliard students. And so this is very firmly in my head, those moments, I think we all self-select as artists. We find ourselves here pursuing music and pursuing the arts because we believe in truth and light and harmony and connection. And I do think that sometimes along the way, how can I say? I think sometimes we feel, I don't know, we can feel isolated on this journey. And in particular, as a soprano, you can feel like, this career consists of a lot of audition rooms. And yet the truth is what we really want is to come together around the arts. And I think that is really the kernel of the idea of Sing for Hope. It's about bringing people together. We do it in all sorts of ways. You're putting up the beautiful image right now of our Sing for pianos. One of the ways that we bring human beings together is by placing these crazy, gorgeous artist designed pianos in the parks and public spaces of New York City for anyone and everyone to play. We've done it 500 times over now, 500 different individually created works of art that really just stand as an excuse for people to look up from their devices and find each other. Of course, here in 2020, we're now looking at a very different New York City and a different landscape for artists. So one of the pivots that Sing for Hope has done this year is to now pay all of our artists and to transition our programs online. So what we're doing, of course, is zooming in to places that can use a shot of hope, a little bit of that sort of creative joy, and in particular serving folks who are isolated in old folks' homes. We are zooming into first responders. We've been sharing music through the Zoom room at nurses' stations throughout the COVID crisis, and just basically finding different ways to use the arts to create joy in unexpected ways in people's lives.
Well, Camille, you're a beautiful person in and out, and a beautiful singer to the core, and you are committed to help people and also to bring the Spanish repertoire to the front of our performing world. And by the way, you produce an amazing video of songs for voice and guitar arranged by the amazing Graziano Tarragó. And you made this beautiful video with images by Adriano Donato La Vitola. So this, we're actually watching some of the amazing artwork for this unique and fascinating video. By the way, everyone, we're happy to announce that Opera Hispánica will broadcast this complete, beautiful, beautiful 45 minutes video in an exclusive fundraising event later this season. And we are very thankful to Camille and the producing team of the video for your generosity in allowing us to broadcast this jewel of a video exclusively to the supporters of Opera Hispánica, who, like you, believe in our mission.
Well, listen, it's my honor. And I think, we're all trying to figure out ways to be creative in 2020. My beautiful guitarist collaborator, Cem Duruz, the great Turkish guitar virtuosos, we were unable to connect in human person right now to make music for you. So we created this video and this previously recorded moment when we were actually together. And, I do think that there's something so addictive about that Spanish folkloric music. And the gift of Graziano Tarragó is that he was kind of like, Bartók and Benjamin Britten. He was one of those great composers who went across the countryside and just collected these old songs that had been passed down in the Spanish tradition. So many of these old folk songs had been passed down from mother to daughter to mother to daughter. So there's this sort of sisterhood lineage that permeates the ways that they had been shared. But a lot of this music was in danger of being lost. And Tarragó collected it and published it. A lot of these pieces were first made famous by my idol, Victoria de los Ángeles.
Right.
And I really think it's music that should be explored much more in this fun collection that we created called Si la noche se hace oscura. It really, a lot of these pieces had really never been heard. Some of them had never been recorded before. So I always tell singers, please check out this guy, Google him, Tarragó. He collected a lot of this music and it should be done much more.
Wonderful. So we're very happy to announce that we're going to broadcast exclusively to our supporters this beautiful video. And also that day, Camille and I are going to teach you how to make our exclusive Opera Hispánica sangria to sip while you're watching the video. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Qué rico.
I know. Actually, let's hear a preview. This is a song from the soundtrack, but we cannot show you the video yet, so this is not the same video. You saw the beautiful pictures that's coming later this season, but this is another video with the same that we make. It's just using the same soundtrack. This is Camille and Cem Duruz on guitar singing a traditional Spanish folk song arranged by Graziano Tarragó. Wow, that was beautiful. Thank you so much, Camille. I look forward to showing the video. This is not a video, but this music with everyone. I think it's really going to help us create conscious and love even more our Spanish repertoire. And this is certainly one of our missions of Opera Hispánica.
You know, Jorge, I think, this is why you feel it. There's such a communal welcome, or in many ways, welcome back to Opera Hispánica right now, because I think this music is what we need. I would say there's something so addictive about this Spanish idiom, and partly it is because, okay, it's my heritage, so it feels like home to me. But I also think there's something about these rhythms and these sort of modal scales that they just get your blood going. And I think, we're living right now through this moment of just sort of collective global bruise. I mean, our planet is suffering, and there's this sort of low vibrational energy, to be honest. So much trauma and so much loss over the course of this last year, and it is going to be about artists rebuilding. But I think I will put in a plug. I mean, I think Opera Hispánica and these kind of really passionate corners of the repertoire, there's something very, very powerful about it. I also will say, I think in just sheer demographic terms, one of the richest demographics for exploration in our concert halls is the Latin and Hispanic demographic in this country. Like, let's create art for and with these audiences. And I think, if we can do it by exploring music that isn't necessarily what folks expect, we love de falla, but let's go even further and find these other corners of the repertoire that you're exploring. I just think it's what's needed. I also think, the last thing I'll just say is there's such a cool melting pot aspect to this music. It's music that brings in, Northern Africa, that traveled up through the Iberian Peninsula, that folded in those Arabic sounds and gave birth to flamenco. And it's the ultimate kind of creative melting pot, which I think in itself is a lesson we all need to think about. So, I mean, it's music that we're waiting for.
Thank you. It certainly we are very proud of our culture and of our heritage, and we are very happy to share it with everyone. And as you said, Spain was a melting pot of culture, and so is the United States. And so here we are sharing everyone's love for culture and for history and for backgrounds and for our heritage. And so we are welcoming, we're a welcoming society, and we're very happy to engage everyone in it. So thank you, Camille, for being with us. We look forward to showing this amazing video of Tarrago's folk songs arrangements, and also to share our secret sangria recipe. So looking forward to that, and I'll see you soon.
Un montón de gracias. Te adoro.
Gracias.
Ciao.
And now to our next Maja, the fiery soprano, Catalina Cuervo. I had the fortune to do many productions with Catalina, among them Maria de Buenos Aires with New York City Opera, and Frida and Maria de Buenos Aires with the Atlanta Opera. So welcome, Catalina.
Maestro, how are you?
Very well. How you doing? Where are you right now?
I'm in Colombia right now.
Oh, yeah, you are in Colombia. That's wonderful. So another country that we are featuring today. This is so wonderful. And we are so happy to have people from everywhere. I mean, this is, as we were saying just before with Camille, the States is such a wonderful melting pot of cultures. And we are so happy to have you with us today. So
happy to be here, Maestro, and obviously like such an honor to be, part of Las Majas, which the other Majas are just like worldwide superstars, and each one of them I admire greatly, and it's just such an honor, Maestro, and an honor to be here with you too.
Thank you. It is also an honor for me to be hosting these beautiful people and such a wonderful artist like yourself. And tell me, you played more Marias and more Fridas than anyone else on earth. Tell us your perception of women in opera, either how women are on stage, or what the job or the function of place of women in the business right now.
Maestro, I think as women, we are slowly winning the battle to be able to have equality, in the arts, and that is just in not in the arts in general. We are fighting our fight, and I think we're getting our to where we want to be. Obviously, in the opera world, and I'm going to say this because I'm a woman and because I'm a soprano, I think we were never behind.
Yeah.
We are the divas, we are the divas, and so many wonderful roles have been composed for us, and we are the heroines, often the tragic heroines, which I love to do. And but even in that, you could see a little bit that we were not treated really fairly, in the case that we are always end up dead or making mistakes, or always the tragedy around us. But I say that in the opera world, we are extremely important and admired, and we rule the world. And saying that from a woman's perspective, I'm sure not all men will think the same. But
no, that's I love your perspective, and I think it's great. And you had the fortune to play these very strong women on stage, especially Frida, which has been an example of here's a picture of our production of Frida. By the way, I'm just saying hello there from the pit. This is our production of Frida with the Atlanta Opera last season.
I love your little hand there.
And tell us what was the reception of the audiences when they see this truly Hispanic piece, not only because of the topic and the character is a Mexican artist, but also the style of the music by Robert Rodriguez is what you can say is specifically Hispanic culture. What's the reception of the audience, Hispanic and not, of a piece like Frida?
Maestro, thank you for mentioning this. So I know that part of the work that Opera Hispánica is going to do is to lighten and to give a space to Hispanic opera. And I've been so fortunate that my career has gone mostly with singing Maria de Buenos Aires by Piazzolla and Frida by Robert Javier Rodriguez, which both of them represent two very strong Latina women in this case. The reception that these two operas have, and that has been my experience all over the United States, is that these operas are both always sold out. And if we think about it, these two operas are modern operas, are not your standards, are not your top 10 operas played in the world. So you will say, it's more tricky to be able to be sold out, and it's more tricky to be able to cut the attention of our audiences. But people are thirsty for this kind of stories, and people love the Hispanic the Hispanic element of it. And they won. And in the case of Frida, for example, who doesn't love Frida? And it's just the fact, just when you say, oh, there's an opera about Frida, everybody wants to go. So I've been so fortunate to see this, to go to every cities where we have a lot of Latino community, a big Latino community, but cities where there's no Latino community or very little Latino community. And these operas are completely sold out, always. I've never done a Maria or a Frida without being sold out. Now, the other interesting thing about this, or that is one of my biggest pleasures, is to be able to perform for the Latino community and the Hispanic community in all these cities. Because often we feel that we are not appreciated, and we feel that when a board or or an artistic director chooses the pieces that are going to be every season, they often don't think about us, or used to. I'm saying that has changed a lot, but I will say in the past. So it was always your standards or German, French opera, which is absolutely fantastic, Italian opera, but we didn't have it was not equal with us, I will say. And by us, I mean Hispanic opera. But in the last years, Maestro, you and I have had the pleasure to see that has completely changed. And we have amazing artistic directors that are making a big change and that have a goal of at least always having a Latino opera or a Hispanic opera, or some, for sure, Latino and Hispanic artists. But we see it, for example, in Atlanta Opera, that they've done both Maria and Frida, and then in Florida Grand Opera always tries to have an opera that is in Spanish or of a Hispanic story. And this is making our community, our Latino community, be excited about opera, coming to the theaters, and they feel appreciated. And I've seen that in every city, and I love that. And I feel I feel that I'm lucky to have that.
That's
Don't
happy
you feel
that,
the
that,
same
that you
way?
were. Well, I'm so happy that you were able to share your talent and to engage these communities, and again to show them on stage, and to be to see the community represented on stage. I think is very, very valuable. We have a treat for our audience. This is a video of that you made for us of Frida's last aria. This is the moment during her second wedding day with Diego Rivera. Let's watch the video.
Frida you see before you, on the second wedding day, not Raphael's Madonna or Da Vinci's bleeding Mona Lisa. I am a woman, seen by a woman.
beautiful. That was, thank you so much, Catalina. You always make me cry with this Viva la Vida. It's such a
Viva la vida!
such a special moment and such a wonderful message that the character conveys at that moment. First of all, of the as a human being, of being appreciated for what she is, but also as a woman, to be able to be equal to the other artists, which I think it's one of the many wonderful messages of the opera.
You know, Maestro, that I have a beautiful story, which is every time I play Frida, there's always a little girl associated with it, and I don't know why, because the opera is PG-13, but I always end up associated with some little girl. And in Atlanta, we had a mother come with her daughter, and she asked special permission to have her daughter come in. She was 7 years old. And she saw the opera with her mother. Her mother thought it was very important she will see a story like Frida's. She comes out, and I met her, and she told me that she learned so many lessons, that it was full of lessons. And she said the most important lesson is that life is beautiful, whatever it happens. And I was like,
that's wonderful. That's wonderful. And I'm so glad that you're able. I know, it's beautiful. I'm so glad that you're able to share Frida and its wonderful message with so many communities. And as you said, you play both Frida and Maria in Miami with Florida Grand Opera. And now we're going to introduce a new guest to our chat, our dear friend, Susan Dennis, the general director and CEO of Florida Grand Opera, that is with us today. Thank you, and welcome, Susan, for joining us.
Hello, wonderful to see you, Catalina, and of course, Maestro. Great to see you.
Thank you for being with us. I mean, it's so wonderful, the message and the mission that you're doing in Miami. Florida Grand, like Opera Hispánica, is committed to reach the Hispanic community and to see it represented on stage and in the audience. And tell us, why do you think that's important?
Well, of course, Miami is a very unique city in the United States, and we have an incredible diverse community that represents the Caribbean, Central America, and all of South America. So it's just natural. Our audience is probably, on last survey, about 55% Latin. And so it's really important for us to make sure that both in terms of the repertoire every year, but also in terms of the performers, that we tell the stories of that community and that the folks on stage represent those communities. And as both Catalina said and Camille, the passion and the power of the music, and just listening to Kata sing that last aria, it does speak to everyone. It doesn't speak specifically to the Latin community, and it has great power to engage all.
Great. And as you said, Opera Hispánica agrees with your mission in Florida. I think it is important that we give a venue and also a vehicle to every community to be able to speak their ideas and to represent their heart. I think what is very important is that we focus certainly on the repertoire, because there's so much to show, and it's not very often seen, and often companies have a little trouble accessing it. So hopefully one of the missions of Opera Hispánica will to facilitate operas around the world, and certainly first around the country, to facilitate them to present this beautiful repertoire. And you have been doing that for many years at Miami, correct?
Yes, absolutely. Even before I came, and I've been here for 8 years, we did a very successful production of Luisa Fernanda quite a while ago. And there are many even before that. But in the last couple of years, of course, Maria and Frida, we've done Florencia. We actually did Robert Rodriguez's Tango in a double bill when Kata was there. Jorge Martin, who I've known longer than either of us care to admit, his Before Night Falls. And of course, Miami is home to such an amazing group of Latin performers. Catalina calls Miami her home. Elizabeth Caballero, right now during this pandemic, it's home. Nadine Sierra was born in Fort Lauderdale. Arturo Chacon Cruz lives here. So I have this insanely rich group of talented people who also call our area their home. I think very much because indeed it is a great place to live if you are from South or Central America, because there's a piece of home here. All the communities exist, and the culture is just different here than any place in the United States. But I wanted to just condemn you, Maestro, for your mission and where you're proceeding, because there is this movement in the United States to, whether it's the movement for inclusion of the Black community or the Latin community. I won't say Latinx because Catalina doesn't like Latinx. So, and I think that this is such a unique way of doing it by giving companies, by partnering with them, by giving them the opportunity to, if they're not particularly knowledgeable or quite know how to approach it, that you're going to provide that vehicle to them. So I applaud you and your board for this great resource that you're going to give to the country, and hopefully it really will help with more inclusion of Latin singers on the stage, and of course the incredible music into our standard repertoire.
Thank you very much for your words, and we are very excited to embark in this project and these projects, and hopefully we'll have a good response for everyone. But certainly we are hoping that we'll make it easier for everyone to showcase our culture and to present a more inclusive representation of all our communities on stage, which I think is really, really exciting. Thank you very much, both of you, for being with us. It's been a pleasure to share this time with you, and I thank you again for being here.
Thank you for having me, Jorge. Very best.
Thank you. And I wanted to add just one thing. I want to thank you both and for helping the fight to elevate Hispanic repertoire. And I think I dream of a better world for us in which Hispanic opera will be taken as seriously as Italian, French, German, and so that Hispanic opera one day will be equal as the fight women were having. I also want that fight for Hispanic opera, and I want to thank you both for always creating a space for Hispanic opera.
Thank you, Catalina. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And now we thank you again for that wonderful words. It's really, really touching to hear that from both of you. We are very excited now to bring another truly international artist and a champion of the Spanish repertoire, and in particular zarzuela. This is the beautiful Nancy Fabiola Herrera, and I love that picture. Oh my God, it's so gorgeous. She just finished a run of performances of La Tempranica al de Teatro de la Zarzuela in Madrid, and let's welcome all the way down from Montevideo, Uruguay, the amazing Nancy Fabiola Herrera. Hello.
Hola, Jorge. Hi, everybody.
Another Juilliard graduate. I was talking to Ed Berkeley yesterday, and he said, I was so touched to see so many Juilliard people in the team, and it is a wonderful example of having just you here again. Thank you for being with us. So you're in Uruguay, right?
I'm in Uruguay right now, yes. So I'm glad to see you and to hear everybody, you know.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a beautiful evening, and I'm so happy to share this time with all of you. Tell us about the Tempranica. How was? I'm so glad that you were able to perform in a theater, and especially to do the zarzuela in a double beat with Vida Breve, which is perhaps the most amazing Spanish opera. But to do a zarzuela at the Teatro de la Zarzuela, tell us about it.
Well, it was an incredible experience. And especially after being for so many months, no performing at all as most part of us. We were, I was for about 7 months, and finally getting to go on stage, and it was the first zarzuela, that went on since before the pandemic, or the pandemic. So it was very emotional for everybody. The experience of Jum Tempranica was fantastic too, because it's very rare that it's done in full production. And this time it was done with the regie of Giancarlo del Monaco, with a wonderful cast, incredible maestro Miguel Ángel Gomez Martinez. So the experience was really amazing. It was a look at the story, from a different point of view. So it was very dramatic, and it was wonderful to be able to play this woman. I've been very lucky in the last 2 years. I have been able to do like 4 different Spanish operas. So some of them not well known at all, like Farinelli by Breton, what we did early in the year at Teatro de la Zarzuela. Also La Casa de Bernarda Alba, who I did like 2 years ago. And so many projects, of the Spanish opera that are finally seeing the light, that it's amazing. Not only zarzuela, but Spanish opera, and both of them are so rich. We have an incredible, massive repertoire, that I think it's definitely worth seeing, worth working for it, worth fighting for it.
And I do agree. I mean, wholeheartedly about that. And I'm so happy that also that Teatro de la Zarzuela engaged a major director like Del Monaco to direct this opera. I think one of the important things that we have to remember is that Hispanic and Spanish music belongs to the whole world, and all, we want to showcase our Hispanic performers, but it's very important that we remember that the repertoire should be done by everyone, not just the Hispanic artists. So it's very wonderful to have a wonderful director like that doing zarzuela. And as you mentioned, zarzuela is doing better and better these days in the theater. What's your connection with the genre specifically?
Well, I actually started singing in a zarzuela company. When I started studying, my first experience with zarzuela. So it was my trampoline. I jumped. That was the one that got me into the lyric world. So to me, zarzuela is so dear, and I always say that I learned so much from the history of my country, and other countries, like Cuba, and other ways, traditions, folklore that our zarzuela portrays, and I think it's so much to learn from it. Not only the amazing music, there's wonderful music. And of course, like they always say, there is a bad zarzuela, but there is also bad opera, There is amazing zarzuela and amazing opera. So in this case, zarzuela came to my life very early in my career. And I think it's our mission as Latin performers to present this, this wonderful Spanish heritage that we have in music to the world. And not only is zarzuela an opera, but all the vast Spanish lead, Spanish songs that are amazing. And I think it's a mission that we all have. And I have put myself into this mission of just being able to perform and let people know about this music. And I think all of us that, all the Majas that are here tonight, by the way, you are amazing. I love you all. And incredible artists. And I just have loved hearing about all these wonderful projects that you have. And I think all of us somehow from the beginning have been, have a very specific mission, of bringing this music to the world. And I think nowadays more and more the mission is to bring zarzuela to the world and get everybody together, all the different associations that are all over the world, that we all come together and we kind of help each other to present this wonderful gender. And I think it's so welcome, by the public, no matter where you go to Japan, you go to Israel, you go anywhere, and they love Spanish music. Camille said something before about people should give more, or houses or producers or promoters should pay more attention to Spanish opera. But I think one of the problems is, for example, with zarzuela in Spain, is we are the ones that don't pay enough attention to it. So I think it has to come from our countries to do that. I love about America. North America knows how to sell what they have. We all buy Broadway productions. We all buy North American music. It's fabulous. I don't think we know how to sell well enough in Spain our musical heritage. I think part is because there's lack of knowledge of it, And the second thing is there's always this thing still in the Spanish mentality that everything that came from outside is better than what we have. And it is not. There are wonderful things coming from outside, but we have wonderful things to offer to the world. And if we don't believe on that, it's going to be very difficult that the world buys it if we don't believe in it, Thank God there is associations like you guys, the world that the work that you want to do, and Teatro de la Zarzuela and so many other places in United States, Houston Grand Opera, Los Angeles, like Catalina mentioned before, Florida. I don't remember now the other place, but there are some opera houses that are really saying, okay, we like Spanish opera, we want to offer it. We are actually they are commissioning new Spanish operas, and I think that's fantastic. And also there are new zarzuelas that need to be commissioned, and actually they are being commissioned. There is a big movement right now in Mexico and Spain with Zarzuela por el Mundo, to commission new works, and we have to continue, all of us.
That's a wonderful goal to have, and we are doing that, and we are certainly, one of the missions of Opera Hispánica is to help everyone present this repertoire by giving them access to tools and to productions that are easy to put together. So then it's a good way of facilitating the goal of presenting the repertoire. And also, I think one of the wonderful things that we are doing is approaching this repertoire with a very new mentality and making new productions of the traditional repertoire. So everything is fresh and has a very dramatic and very today approach to these productions. And I think that it's going to help the audience identify with it.
Absolutely.
And you were talking about the song repertoire, and you just did a recording with the pianist, and it's out right now. And you also did a special video for us that we are very, very proud to present right now. let's hear this is the Romance de la Luna Luna that you record for this special evening, and you do a little introduction, and we would love to share it with the audience right now.
Okay, wonderful. Hola queridos amigos de Ópera Hispánica, saludo a todas las personas que están con nosotros hoy viendo las majas de la Ópera Hispánica. Bueno, quiero compartir con ustedes una perlita de nuestro maravilloso repertorio español. Tenemos joyas maravillosas y quiero compartir con ustedes hoy una de mis canciones favoritas. Se llama El Romance de la Luna Luna. Es un poema de García Lorca musicalizado por Miquel Ortega, compositor español, maravilloso amigo y colega con el que he tenido la oportunidad de colaborar en varias ocasiones. Y en esta ocasión me va a acompañar una amiga queridísima, gran artista, Carla Romagnoc, al piano. Espero que disfruten.
La luna vino la fragua con su palizón de nardos, el niño la mira, el niño la está mirando en el aire conmovido. Mueve la luna sus brazos y enseña lúbrica y pura sus senos de puro estaño. Oye, luna, 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 si te vieran los gitanos, harían con tu corazón collares y anillos blancos. Niño, déjame que baile cuando vengan los gitanos. Te encontrarán sobre el yunque con los ojitos cerrados. Oye, luna, 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 que ya siento los caballos. Niño, déjame, no pises mi blancor almidonado. El jinete se acercaba, tocando el tambor de llano. Dentro de la fragua el niño tiene los ojos cerrados por el olivar venido. Rompe el sueño los gitanos, las cabezas levantadas y los ojos entornados. Como cuando la fama
Wow. That is so mesmerizing. I love that. I didn't know the song. It's just amazing. And I love your interpretation, your singing, but your storytelling is I'm incredible. I'm speechless.
Mikel
That's
has
so beautiful.
songs, you know. He has incredible music. Amazing, amazing songs, definitely.
And it's really wonderful. And your performance was so, I mean, it's so clear. I mean, you can see all the characters and the process. I just love, I just love it, and it was so touching. And of course, Garcia Lorca's text is so, so incredible. So fun. Thank you so much. That was really wonderful. Thank you so much for us, for being with us. It was a pleasure and honor to have you, Nancy. Thank you for your support, but also for your artistry and your love for Spanish music that we all share.
It's such a pleasure. Thank you. Thank Frost, and give my love to Howard too for this wonderful project. Definitely, we are going to be supporting this. And I ask the public and everybody that is watching this today to support Opera Hispánica. I think it's really worth, and it's so much to be done. And it's amazing artists that are engaged with this to make this an incredible, incredible project. So my love to all the Majas and everybody, you know, on this program. And especially I want to give my love to my sister, Veronica. Okay, Berito.
Thank you. She's watching and she's waving. Thank you in the you can see in the backstage. So thank you so much, Nancy, for being with us.
Take care. See you soon.
We're so happy to have you. It was really an honor. We want to cross the river from Nancy and arrive to Buenos Aires to thank again Alejandro Cordero for the support of this event. Alejandro is a true force behind the opera world. He's a member of the board of the Fundación Teatro Colón in Buenos Aires, also of the international board at the Manhattan School of Music in New York, and he supports the education and the formation of singers and the training of singers from South America tirelessly. He has been supportive of Opera Hispánica from the beginning, and unfortunately Alejandro was not able to join us live right now, but he sent us a greeting that we'd like to share with all of you.
Yo acá en Buenos Aires quiero felicitar y agradecer a mi gran amigo Jorge Parodi, que somos amigos desde hace tantos años que ya ni me acuerdo la cantidad de años que somos amigos, y a la Ópera Hispánica por todo este trabajo que están haciendo, y espero que tenga un gran éxito y que en breve, a más tardar un año, nos podamos encontrar todos en un espectáculo, pero no así por video, en el teatro, o en el Metropolitan o en el Teatro Colón. ¿Y por qué no en el Royal Opera House de Londres? Así que muchísimas gracias y muchísimo éxito.
Thank you, Alejandro, for your words and your support, and your support to the talent of South America and all these wonderful singers. Actually, Alejandro has a competition for South American singers that allows many of them to come to New York and also go to Europe to train, and some of them and perform regularly at the Americas Society. And one of those singers was Marina Silva, who since then has performed many roles in the main stage of the Teatro Colón. Last engagement of hers was Liu in Turandot. And we are very fortunate to have Marina record for us a beautiful song from one of my favorite songwriters, which is Maria Elena Walsh. This is the Serenata para la Tierra de Uno by Maria Walsh, performed by Marina Silva y Matías Shapiro.
porque me duele si me quedo, pero me muero si me voy. Por todo y a pesar de todo, mi amor, yo quiero vivir en vos. Por toda esencia de vida y por tu escándalo de sol, por tus veranos con jazmines, mi amor, yo quiero vivir en vos. Porque el idioma de confiar es un secreto entre los dos, porque le diste reparo al desarraigo de mi corazón. Por tus antiguas rebeldías y por la paz de tu dolor, por tu esperanza interminable, mi amor, yo quiero vivir en vos. Para sembrarte de guitarra, para cuidarte en cada flor y odiar a los que te lastiman, mi amor, yo quiero vivir en vos. Porque el idioma de confiar es un secreto entre los dos, porque le diste reparo al desarraigo de mi corazón. Porque me duele si me quedo, pero me muero si me voy. Por todo y a pesar de todo, mi amor, yo quiero vivir en
Gracias, Marina, for este hermoso video. Thank you, Marina, for this beautiful video. It was so touching, for all of us that have to go abroad to hear this beautiful song. Thank you, thank you. And so, Marina, you won the Alejandro Cordero competition. Ganaste el concurso de Alejandro Cordero. ¿Qué significó para vos el apoyo de Alejandro?
Bueno, buenas tardes a todos. Muchas gracias por dejarme participar de este proyecto y para mí, un comienzo precioso. Mi participación dentro, gracias a vos, Jorge, por esta participación en Ópera Hispánica. Y principalmente a nivel profesional, representar como estudiante al Instituto Superior del Teatro Colón fue muy importante. A nivel educativo, imagínate que fue un enriquecimiento cultural. Era mi primer viaje a Estados Unidos, a la ciudad de Nueva York, que yo solamente la conocía por cine. Después, por tener la oportunidad de conocer teatros, de recorrer museos. Y por último, creo que a nivel personal, para mí fue un crecimiento individual muy importante porque significó ganarme para mí el primer premio de todos, que es la amistad y el padrinazgo del doctor Alejandro Cordero.
That's wonderful. Let me translate for those that don't speak Spanish, which hopefully I'm sure there are a lot that understood you, but just in case. Marina thanks us for being part of this event, and we thank her, by the way. It was really, she's very happy to be with us. And about the competition, it was a pleasure for her to be representing Argentina and also the Instituto de Teatro Colón, which is where she was studying. And also, it was very important for her to be able to grow and come to New York, which a place that she has only seen in movies. And it was very wonderful to see new places and new theaters and new performances. And also, it was very important for her to establish the relationship and the friendship with Alejandro that has been through support of her career all these years. And Marina, well, muchas gracias de nuevo. ¿Cuáles son tus proyectos próximamente en esta situación tan rara que es la que estamos viviendo?
Bueno, estamos viviendo una situación muy dura en Argentina, muy dura. Por lo menos nuestras salas todavía no están del todo abiertas, y de hecho tal vez continúen así. Tuve la oportunidad igualmente, gracias al Centro Cultural Kirchner, hacer el primer concierto que se realizó para todo el país con 30% de público en la Ballena Azul este fin de semana pasado. Y por ahora seguimos en estado de todavía cultura no es esencial.
Right. So yes, Marina says that it's very hard in Argentina. The situation is difficult, and not the theaters has not been open yet. Yet she was able to do a performance this week in one of the main performing arts centers in Buenos Aires, which is the La Ballena del Teatro Kirchner, or the Centro Cultural Kirchner. And she was very happy to do a live concert, but the future is a little uncertain right now. And it is true for all of us. We are trying to do what we can. I'm here in Orlando. I'm about to start rehearsals for the Fledermaus with Opera Orlando here in Florida. And we certainly hope that we were able to go ahead with the performances, and we are we will show it virtually also, but we have live performances, and they're taking good care of us. The orchestra is taking good care, the chorus and everything. So we're very excited to be back on live, but it's everything is a little complicated everywhere in the world, but we're very thankful for these opportunities right now virtually to be able to do things and to share our love for music and opportunity to perform. And Marina, we're very thankful for being with us, and to you and Matías for your performance. It was really, really touching, and it sounded great. María, muchas gracias por tu colaboración, y gracias a Matías, because ha sido un placer tenerte.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Marina. And now to our last Maja, and I'm truly, truly delighted to introduce a constant friend of Opera Hispánica and a shining star of the world of opera, who has been with us since the beginning. And it's a joy to hang out every time we have the opportunity. The incomparable Isabel Leonard. Isabel, I am beyond honored to share the screen with you. Such a pleasure. Thank you for being with us.
It's so nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And we are a bit of in the Argentinian corner with Alejandro, Marina, and Isabel. And I don't know if everyone knows about your connection with Argentina. Could tell us about it?
Yes, absolutely. Well, first of all, my mom was born in Buenos Aires, and she moved here to the United States in the 60s when all the universities closed, and there was, as we know, there is a thoughtful history in Argentina. It seems like almost all the time, but she moved out here with a very large group of students that were all doing the same things, and she finished her degree and she stayed. And that's really how I came to be here. And she lived in Princeton for a while. She had finished her degree at Rutgers, and then hi Howard, and then she stayed in New York and never left. She never really went back. She went back obviously to visit her family, and it was a big part of our life to go back every year since I was a little girl. Ever since I can remember, we would go back in June when I was off from school. And we would spend a month or so. And my father, who was American, he didn't speak a word of Spanish. And so he walked around saying, sí, sí, claro, claro, sí, sí, claro. That was it. And he managed perfectly because he was so very social. And we have a lot of family that lived down there. My grandfather was born in Santiago del Estero, which is about an hour and a half northwest of Buenos Aires. Well, by plane. Really.
Yeah, it's
maybe 2 hours actually. It's actually farther than it seems. The country is so big. Right. And he was born on a farm actually that was in the family, and he was the youngest of 11 children.
Uh-huh.
And he was in for all intents and purposes raised by his elder siblings, and later on moved in with one of his elder brothers in Buenos Aires later on, and he actually became a grandmaster in chess, and it was his elder sibling that had introduced him to the game. And he became a grandmaster in chess, and he traveled all over the world at the time. He was on some of those first Pan-American, continental flights, and he went to Europe, and he played against all of the really kind of amazing chess players of the time.
What's the last name of your grandfather?
Carlos Guimard.
Guimard. Okay.
Carlos Guimard. And his family, there are lots of really interesting mixes within the family, but the family itself in Santiago, we believe has Quechua roots, because not only so in Santiago del Estero, as you know, maybe others don't, but the Indians that lived there, and it was kind of a big trade port. There was a lot of movement throughout that area, but the Indians that lived there, they spoke Quechua, and so a lot of the language, like a lot of the slang in Santiago del Estero, comes from Quechua. Like I think of Solange, who is from Córdoba, and she has different words that they use sometimes, and we would have different words, and we would have to figure out what they meant, whereas the general language obviously is the same.
Right. Let me explain a little to everyone. Quechua was a language of the Incas, with capital in Cusco, and Lima was the second city. And Quechua was the language of the big Inca Empire that went all the way to actually as far south as Cordoba and as far as north as Venezuela. So it was like the Aztecs in Mexico were the Incas in Peru, and Santiago it's a province in the north east of the country, and it's wonderful that you are. I mean, I'm sure all the Santiagueños are very proud to have you as a member of the community. That's really beautiful.
It's fun. I have to say, because I grew up here, and I grew up in a way, I call it in a very American sort of life, right? I never thought really of it. I just thought, well, this is my family. They live in Argentina, and my mom's side is from Argentina, and my dad's side is American. They're German, Irish, and I never really sat and thought about, oh, this is really interesting heritage. I don't necessarily think people do that until maybe later in their life when they become more curious about it. But it is fascinating, and I love visiting my family, and I haven't seen them as much. As I said, I used to see them every year. And it's just it's always been a different world. We spend time on the farm. We, have our asados every Sunday. You're always around people. For me, going to Argentina and to see my family was always where I could recharge every year. And it was where you got all the love, and literally all the love, the hugs, everything all the time. And it's so different than the life I had growing up in the States, coming from a small nuclear family, just being me and my parents.
And probably different also going from New York to a city in Santiago, which is just much smaller. So I'm sure that will be different. And tell us, do you think that this being opera is such an international culture, and it is for the most part a very international art form and community? Do you think that your mixed background of international parents made you a little more attuned to opera, or just happened?
It's a good question, actually. I think that opera, in a way, happened for me when I was in school. I never thought I was going to be an opera singer. I certainly had no preconceived notions as to what I was going to do when I grew up. I think when I was younger, I did a lot of ballet, I danced, I was involved in all of these things. And I think I had an inkling that I wanted to be on stage, but I didn't know that it was going to end up being opera. And opera happened when I went to Juilliard, and it ended up unfolding through there. And of course, my mother, again, is a big influence in many ways. She used to listen to opera around the house all the time. Except, of course, I would always say, "Oh my God, turn it off." I'm like, "Why are they yelling?" So, but who knows? One never knows how those things creep in sort of subconsciously. And and it really just happened. I mean, I think I'm very fortunate in that way, that because I grew up speaking Spanish and English, and and then I learned French later on as a young child, that when it came down to being able to understand foreign languages and be able to travel and feel comfortable, especially alone, and as a young woman in my early and mid-20s, it was really, really, really fortunate to have those skills early on. And it allowed me to, I think, be able to do my job without being stressed about so many other things that I could have been stressed about at the moment.
Right.
So it was a really fortunate group of events, I guess.
Right, great. And how much of your heritage is part of your life right now? I mean, I know that it's part of your culture and your growth, and but how do you feel about it right now?
At the moment, I sadly feel disconnected from my family, and not for any reason except for the fact that between the pandemic and everything else, but also because my life and my career has been so wonderful, but it has also been so packed, right? And so busy. And that has not always allowed me to take the time that I've wanted to have to go and visit and be with my family.
Right.
But we always keep in touch. We have a gigantic WhatsApp message with all my cousins, and there's like 20 of us. So
I mean, if your grandfather was one of 11, that tells us a huge town.
Yeah. Well, and actually, the funny thing about the story is that he had one sister, and it's the branch from the one sister that I'm the closest to, actually. Right. So anyway, but we're always in touch. And actually, when I was in London last year working, I asked one of my cousins who was in between, semesters and things, if she wanted to come and help me with my son. And we had such a nice time. We had she had never been to London, and it was such a pride for me to be able to share that with her and to finally have somebody be able to see what it is that I've been doing all these years, because they've never been able to see me live ever. And so we always talk about that. And so she's like the first one that was able to.
We should bring you to Argentina. We'll figure out a way to have you work in Argentina and perform in Argentina, and not just visit, but we'll have
a whole section dedicated to my family, because
that would be great. That's beautiful. And we want to talk about Argentina, and we did last time we did a performance at the Argentinian consulate here in New York, and we want to share with everyone this archival video of the performance. It has never been shown before, and this is.
When was this? Like 1990?
Like Veronica said, the last century. No, it wasn't. It wasn't as far. But here is a performance from the Opera Hispánica Festival at the Argentinian Consulate of Isabel. Bravo, bravo, Isabel. It was so nice to hear live clapping again. Yeah. That was so beautiful. I mean, that's a good way of wrapping up our evening with a little lullaby. And
It's still one of my favorites. That one, and then Manuel de Falla, Nana, and then of course I sing Arrorro mi nene to my little boy who's 10. He still wants lullabies at night.
That's beautiful. How is that? I'm glad that you're singing Arrorro to Teo. You know, that was the Arrorro we all heard when we were children. And Isabel is talking about Ginastera's arrangement of the lullaby. Have you sung other Argentinian repertoire?
Well, I actually have 2 CDs of repertoire. One I did a long time ago with Brian Ziegler, sort of one of the first things I did. I would feel like I was a baby. And we did a ton of repertoire by Manuel de Falla. And I think there's maybe, I can't remember now, Obradores, or maybe that was the other one. A lot of, the very first thing I learned was the Siete Canciones Populares from de Falla. And I remember watching a video actually of Teresa Berganza singing them. And I fell in love. And that was sort of the beginning of my love for all of this music. And then after that, I did a whole CD with Sharon Isman with her at guitar. And we did a lot of the Lorca folk songs. And we arranged them ourselves because there weren't any guitar voice arrangements at the time. So we put it all together and we did like 13 of the Lorca songs. And then we did La Desgranada and some of the de Falla, the ones that she felt that she could transpose for guitar. Again, there's Obradores and the Granados, and there's so much beautiful music, right? And the Mont Salvage, of course, where that lullaby comes from. So I've done that whole set. There's just so much good music.
True.
The text, for me, I've always been a very textually driven person, and I find that the text for everything that I have done in the Spanish repertoire is so wonderful and so clear, and the storytelling is so good, and it's just like it just gets you every time. Everything is just straight to the point and in the most beautiful way. And
wonderful, and it shows. I mean, it shows in everything you do, and certainly in the Spanish repertoire. We are so fortunate that you love the repertoire and that you perform it, and always it's a joy to have you and to hear you, Isabel. Thank you so much for being with us today. It was really a pleasure.
No, it was a pleasure. I wish I could give you a hug. It's been long. Soon.
Thank you, Isabel, very much, and thank you everyone for watching. As Isabel send us to bed right now, we're going to wrap up, and thank you again for your being with us. Your support is essential to our mission, and please support Opera Hispánica in however you can. There is a ticker and explain how to visit our website. Again, our website is www.operahispanica.com, and I hope you visit us there. Please remember to tune in for our recital with Ricky Garcia in April as a collaboration with Teatro Grattacielo and the Camerata Bardi. And before that, don't miss our exclusive broadcast of Camille Zamora and Chem Zuruo's video of Spanish medieval and Renaissance folk songs arranged by Tarragó with an amazing artwork of Adriano Lavitola. And of course, Opera Hispánica Sangría. Thank you again, everyone, for watching. Until next time. Bye.